been a lot of resignations since Zohran Mamdani won in a huge upset in the Democratic primary. And the billionaire class, the real estate developers, they've been really resigned. They've been resigned to the fact that it really seems like it's going to be Zohran as our next mayor. And then earlier this week, this rumor broke out like a wildfire that Eric Adams is going to drop out. You know,
he was down in Florida reportedly
exactly.
meeting with members of the Trump team, even Steve Witkoff, all who were enticing him.
Right, and so the rumor was Friday. It's definitely going to happen Friday. And then earlier this morning, I heard, okay, maybe it's Monday. Anyway, so when this is happening this afternoon, I'm getting texts from these billionaires, from these Cuomo donors saying, oh my gosh, it's about to happen, because Eric Adams' word was out that he was holding this emergency presser, and he gets on, and right away, when I see the look on his face, I know something is not quite right here. This is not a concession speech. And it wasn't. It was a really defiant speech in which he said he's not going anywhere.
He can't win. No poll shows him even remotely close to a plausible win.
In fact, he is probably in danger of dipping beneath 5%, which is not a great look. And so it's unclear what this is. I mean, Cuomo world is definitely, it could be denial that they're in right now, but the new rumor is that this is a tactic, that this is a negotiating ploy.
For an even better job?
Because perhaps the ones available to him, the HUD position would require Senate confirmation along with an ambassadorship, and perhaps he's worried he can't clear Senate confirmation, and so...
Which says so much, by the way. I don't know. Hey, Chris, President Trump reacted just a short time ago to this news, saying, all right, if he wants to stay in, he can stay in. You know, you've got yourself a communist mayor in New York City. Why is President Trump getting so involved in this mayor's race of New York City? Wouldn't a Democratic Socialist mayor of New York, of America's biggest city, be a great foil for him?
1,000%. There's, from a purely political perspective, Elizabeth, Donald Trump should stay as far away from this as possible, let all the candidates stay in, and let Zohran Mamdani win, because look, they are not in great shape in terms of boogeymen to raise money against, right? No Hillary Clinton, right? Barack Obama's probably too old. Nancy Pelosi's, you know, Zohran Mamdani is it. It's a gold mine.
Right.
Why? I think, honestly, because I know he's not a New York resident anymore, but I think, you know, look, he grew up in New York City. He spent his entire life until the last 2 years as a resident of New York City. So I think he can't sort of help himself, but he's 100% right. I mean, look, I'm not even sure that Zohran Mamdani loses if Eric Adams gets out and endorses Andrew Cuomo, which is basically impossible now that you've called him a snake. But I would say Olivia's right. I don't rule anything out with Eric Adams. If on Monday we're talking about Eric Adams dropping out of the race, I wouldn't be stunned. But don't assume that that means that Andrew Cuomo is going to be the mayor. I still think Zohran Mamdani. You got to get everybody but Cuomo and Mamdani out. And I don't know how you get Curtis Sliwa out.
Yeah, well, he said he's only leaving in a pine box, so we'll see about that. Olivia, it's a dual-edged sword to have Trump support.
Right.
66% of New Yorkers do not like President Trump. You know, part of the reason why Eric Adams has no shot at winning right now is because Eric Adams took a pardon, basically, got all his charges cleared for him by the Trump administration.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. It arguably, you know, it is probably Cuomo's dream right now that Eric Adams drops out along with Curtis Sliwa, but at the same time, the stain of possible White House intervention, that is a huge, that's a huge vulnerability. But I just wanted to say, it was kind of surprising to hear Chris say his position just now, because that's actually kind of the conservative position that, oh, we really want Zohran to be mayor because we would be able to fundraise off of him. And I actually think Trump is probably too shrewd. I think it's twofold. I think he really does care about New York and is concerned by Zohran, who he calls a communist, not just a socialist. But I think that he understands that Zohran is really quite popular, and this. I think he's scared of this big populist wave that could rush across America.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.